Hello, good morning, and welcome to another podcast episode. My name is Morgan. I am known as the Emo Knitter on Instagram as well as here on YouTube, and this is the channel where I like to share the things that I'm working on. It is primarily knitting, a little bit of crochet, and then sometimes I pop some other things in there. Today is Sunday, December 29th, and it has been over a month since I did a formal podcast episode. I did participate in Vlogmas this year, but I understand that that's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone enjoys watching Vlogmas, so I thought that I would pop on here today before the end of the year to give you some progress updates. This is a sneak peek at the craft room. This is my first time recording a podcast in this space. I am finishing up the kind of final details in here today, as long as I'm waiting for a couple baskets to come in, and as long as those get delivered today as expected, this room will be done today. I have been recording the process of redoing this room. We started in the middle of November and it is end of December and it's now basically finished. So it's been a really fun month and a half, and I'm excited that this is the space where I get to enjoy my crafts. I have been recording a vlog, and once this is all finished, I will get that footage edited and posted sometime in the next couple of weeks. But for now, this is what you get to see. I thought I would start today with what I'm wearing. This is very fresh off of my needles. This is the Alaska hat by Second Knit. I'm going to tilt forward so that you can kind of see. I haven't blocked it yet, and I think I will. This is very narrow, and I think that if I blocked it, it would be a little bit wider like that. But again, this is the Alaska hat. It is a pattern by Second Knit. I knitted it in Coast to Coast Yarn Co. Light Roast in her BFL worsted weight. I started this beanie when I was at the airport ready to fly to California for a little early Thanksgiving celebration as well as a Ravens game. And then I knitted almost all of it, and then when I got home I didn't pick it up until last week. So I started it on November 24th and finished it just a couple hours ago today on December 29th. It was a very quick knit. Again, I worked up most of it in probably 4 hours between the airport terminal and the flight to California. I just was prioritizing gift knits and things like that and did not get to pick it up again until this week. But it's finished. I knitted the size 3, which is the adult woman, and I used a 3.5mm US 4 needle. The pattern is, you started at the top with a Turkish cast on, which I'd never done before. I used Andrea Mowry's tutorial on YouTube and it was super easy to follow. And then you work the crown increases, and then the rest of it is just 2x2 rib. It's worsted weight, so it works up pretty quickly. I knitted mine about 2 centimeters shorter than what the pattern calls for. I do not like I don't even know what the style is called, but I don't like when my beanies are sitting like this. That's not my preference. So I wanted it to be a little bit more fitted. So I knitted just a couple of centimeters shorter than the pattern called, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So this is the Alaska hat. Alaska hat. I have several finished objects because it's been 4, maybe 5 weeks since the last time I recorded. So most of the whips from my last podcast episode are actually finished objects now. So we will start with the first one. This is the Sunset Sweatshirt by Jessie May. And it's all done. This was basically done on my last episode as well. I think maybe I had the ribbing left to do on one of the sleeves, but it's completely finished now. This is, again, a pattern by Jessie May Designs. I knitted it in the Farmer's Daughter the Spinster's Daughter Worsted, which is a collaboration between Farmer's Daughter's Fibers and Spin Cycle Yarns. This is the color Sunnies. It's a really nice, a golden color. And I bought this yarn at Flock this year. So this is a finished Flock project. I started it on August 25th, put it down for a little while, and then finished it on November 19th. I knitted a size 2, which is the small, on 5.5mm US 9 needles for the main body, and I dropped it down to a 5mm US 8 for the ribbing. I did 2x2 ribbing for the body and the sleeves, and 2x2 ribbing is my favorite. I just love the way that it looks. And I found a tutorial. I used it actually for this beanie as well, and I'll link it in the description below, but I found a tutorial. I think I wrote down the name of the gal in here. The YouTube channel is called Knitting with Suzanne Bryan. It's a tutorial for 2x2 Italian bind off in the round, and I feel like a lot of patterns that have 2x2 ribbing have you switch to 1x1 before you bind off, and I just really don't love the way that that looks. So I followed her tutorial and I love the outcome. It's nice and stretchy and I think it looks really good. So I'm very happy that I did that. Again, I did that for the Alaska hat as well. And then I wanted to show, while I was in Portland for Sacred Sheep, Shelly Can had a booth there, and she has these really cute tags that say "This is the back. If you know, you know." It is so difficult sometimes to tell what the front and back of a knitted item are, so I'm excited that I have those now that I can put into all my projects. So yeah, this is my finished sunset sweatshirt, and I've already worn it like 4 or 5 times. I love it so much. It's a great staple. I'm surrounded in knits. I'll put this up there. Okay. Another finished object that I have, I'm going to briefly run through a few of them. One of them has already been gifted. The other one is about to be gifted. And the last one I am just not happy with. So last episode I was working on a mini season sweater by Ozetta. I was using Lion brand, homespun woolies in the color Umber, and it's finished, but it's already been gifted. So I knitted the size 1, which is 1 to 2 years. I started it on October 17th and finished on November 20th, so just over a month to work that up. I will put up some pictures of it finished. I had oh, I thought I measured the yarn, but I did not. That's okay. I had about 2/3 of a ball left over after I knitted that sweater, so I actually also made a baby-sized Alaska beanie in the same yarn to match, and I'll put up a picture as well of kind of the set together. I'm really excited with how it came out, and I love, love, love the mini seasoned sweater pattern. I'm already knitting another one and will continue to knit them. They're so good. I will also share, I finished a couple of Knit e-reader cozies. This is a pattern by Knit California. I used fingering weight held double on 3.5mm needles, and I did an I-cord bind off, which I secured with, you can see the knot here, some clear elastic just to maintain the shape. It fits a Kindle really well, and I thought I would have gifted this by now, but it is ready for my friend whenever I see her next. That's my 3rd finished object, actually, because this is... Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about my stick season jacket, and I would like to preface by saying that this was a test knit that I really truly enjoyed knitting up for Rebecca Clow, who's the Crayabea. I made very poor choices for this test knit. I got chosen to knit the size 1, and it's just too small. I have a pretty muscular build, and it just like is really tight in the shoulder and the armpit here. And then I feel like it's gonna rip in half if I like do this motion. I also knitted it up using Plitzlopi, which I was initially really excited about, but it is extremely rustic, and this kind of cardigan jacket is so warm. I don't think I'll ever wear it in Washington State, but it is finished. I did not put buttons on. I did not sew the ends in because I just don't see myself wearing it, unfortunately. I may just like donate it. Again, it's a really nice jacket and it's a really nice pattern. It just doesn't fit me well and the yarn does not suit me. So It has absolutely nothing to do with the pattern or the design. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous design, and the pattern was so beautifully written, and Rebecca Clow makes great patterns. I just made some poor choices, and it is what it is. But I did finish it on time because I'm a good little test knitter. And yeah, I think that this is gonna get donated, which is a bummer, but that's okay. Let's move on to works in progress. Okay, I am going to start with an update on my Lakes pullover. This is a pattern by Ozetta that I am buddy knitting with a friend of mine. We're making the exact same sweater in the exact same color, and we are really making progress. This Lakes pullover by Ozetta. I will hold up where we're at. So here we are. I am knitting this in Lion Brand's Fisherman Wool in the color Brown Heather. I am knitting a size 2, and I started this on September 5th, again with my friend. And since the last podcast, we have finished the first sleeve, which is pretty exciting. We've decided to work a bit more on the body before picking up for the second sleeve. So I have, I don't know, maybe 4 inches of the body done. And then all we have left is another sleeve. I think that the plan is to finish this skein of yarn for the body and then pick up the sleeve. We definitely want to have both sleeves finished before we bind off the body. That's my personal preference. I think that having finished sleeves, similar to a collar, changes the way that a sweater fits you. So that is what we plan on doing. But yeah, every big part of this project we've done together. She is a beginner knitter, and she's absolutely doing an incredible job with it. And I just freaking love this sweater. I cannot wait for it to be finished so that I can wear it. The design is so beautiful. I know I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I absolutely love the rolled collar on this. It's just so clean and beautiful. And then once this is blocked, it looks like in pictures this just like really like settles down and evens out, and it's just like a gorgeous simple drop shoulder sweater. So I can definitely see myself knitting this pattern again. Ozetta's patterns, I have knit quite a few now, and they are extremely clear and super simple to follow. She is a great designer to go with if it's your first sweater or if you just want something simple. I highly, highly recommend her patterns. They're really, really great. Okay, what's next? Oh wait, actually I want to put a progress keeper in. Do I have any with me? I do. I have these ones from the Littlest Charm Co. So I'm going to put a progress keeper in so that in the next episode I can show you where I was. So I'm going to put on this dinosaur. Cutie cutie. Where I'm at right now. So that I can do the thing where you show how much progress you've made between episodes. Next, I am going to chat about another work in progress. I actually have 2 of them going right now. This pattern is the Sweet Shop Blanket. It is a pattern by Laura Penrose, and it is so cute. And if you watched Vlogmas, you're probably so sick of me talking about this project, and I apologize, but I will be sharing it. So I am knitting 2 right now. The first one I am knitting in the Woolberry Fiber Co. Calm and Cozy Winter box from this year. And I have completely worked through every one of the colors from that box for the first round. This is what it looks like. So I have like 3.5 rows done. My goal is to do a 7x7, but that might not be long enough. So if that's the case, then I'll do another round of all of the colors. What I'm doing is I'm holding each color double, so it's DK weight, but I'm using fingering held double, and I'm using a 4mm US 6. So I'm holding day 1 double, and then I held day 1 with day 2, and then I held day 2 double, and so on and so forth to create this really pretty pattern. And I am obsessed with it. I was nervous at first that I was going to lose steam on it once I had finished working up the advent, but I have not. I am currently on hold on this project, but that's because I'm working on my other Sweet Shop blanket because it has an actual deadline. But I love this blanket and it's gonna work really well in this room. The second one that I'm working on is for a friend of mine who is due on New Year's, and I have fallen behind because I have been working so hard on that one. So this is another Sweet Shop blanket. I have 3 rows done. My goal initially is a 4x4, but I think that I'm gonna see how big that is and if she goes into labor by the time I finish the 4th row. And I might end up making it like 4 wide and 5 tall, and then if I have time, a 5x5. But this is using a bunch of different scrap yarns that I have in my stash. I am not a pink person, but early in my knitting career, I just bought yarn that I thought was pretty, and apparently some of it was pink. So I am using any pink adjacent yarn that I had in my stash for this blanket. And I have a bag full here. And I will probably knit one for another baby girl too, because I'm gonna have a lot of yarn left over, but this is what that's looking like. And I'm hoping to get it finished. I'm hoping to have the 4x4 finished by New Year's Day, which is her due date, and that's in 2.5 days. I have 4 and like 1/3 squares left to make, and I feel like I could probably do that. Seems realistic, but we'll see what happens. My next working project is the balloon cardigan by Petite Knit. I am knitting this in Explore Knits and Fibers colorway Snoqualmie in her Surrey lace and Denali sock held double, which matches this wall pretty well actually. And I just yesterday split for sleeves. So let me get this held up. This is what it looks like. I absolutely love it. The way that these are marling up, because the Surrey's a little bit lighter than the sock, is so pretty. And it's so soft and squishy. I imagine myself wearing this with basically everything I wear. I am also going to add a stitch marker or progress keeper to this guy so we can see how much work I do between now and the next episode. My plan is to, so I just split for sleeves and I've knit 1 row since then. So my plan is to at least get through the first buttonhole before I pick up one of the sleeves. And then I figure I can work the 2nd buttonhole and then the 2nd sleeve and then the 3rd buttonhole and then the ribbing. And then that will make it feel like I'm not knitting back and forth forever. I love cardigans, but purling every other row is rough. But I do love it. So some more details. This is, I'm knitting the size 2, which is a small, which will give me about 20 centimeters of positive ease, which is what was recommended in the pattern. I'm knitting it on a size 4mm, which is a US 6, and I started it on November 9th. And here again, it's just so pretty. You knit the button band with the rest of the sweater, which is, I've talked about this before, but that's my favorite way to knit a cardigan. I hate picking up stitches for the button band, so this is really nice, and it's a really clean button band. I was at La Mercerie a couple weeks ago and picked up some buttons for this, so they're all ready for me when I finish. And yeah, I love it so, so much, and cannot wait to wear this when I finish it. Okay, we still have several more whips, so let's take a coffee break. Okay, I feel like I might be talking fast, and if that's the case, I'm really sorry, but my next work in progress is the Oxbow socks by Andrea Mowry, and really quick, I want to show you this cute bag from Knitting Nelly. So spooky cute. I try and get her sock bag every year when she does them. She does them like holiday themed. She did some Christmas bags and she did some Halloween bags, and I was able to snag this one, which I'm really pumped about. So I am knitting the Oxbow socks by Andrea Mowry in the Explore Knits and Fibers Winter Solstice sock set. So the main color is called Head in the Clouds and the contrast color is called Daydream. They're caked up, but this is what they look like. They're so pretty. I am knitting, let's see, the size 3, which is an adult small, and I'm knitting them on 2.25 9mm 9-inch circulars, which is a US 1. And I started these on December 6th. I chose to do the pop of color on the cuff, and then I did the heel flapping gusset that's written in the pattern. And I actually just finished the foot portion last night, so these are ready for the toe, and I am going to do the toe in the contrast color as well. The texture in this is so pretty, and it's a really simple 4-row repeat, so it's super easy to memorize and super easy to bring along anywhere with you, and it creates a really pretty texture. My goal is to finish one of these socks by the new year, and I will, because all I have left is a toe, so I'm hoping to work the toe and cast on the second sock today. But yeah, I love these socks. I really wanted to participate in her sock challenge when these came out over Thanksgiving weekend, but I worked like 3 out of the 4 or 5 days that challenge was being held, so I did not participate, but I am making the socks still. Okay, we are almost done. Have no fear. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. Okay. My next work in project is another mini season sweater by Ozetta. I am knitting this in Hello Stella fibers, lavender latte colorway on worsted Stella. If you've been following Lindsay of Hello Stella for years, you know that she now primarily focuses on non-superwash wool and natural dyes. These yarns are from 2020. These yarns are 4 years old, but it's such a pretty colorway, and I'm knitting one of my best friends. She's got 2 daughters. I'm knitting them matching sweaters, and it's working up really cute. So this first one that I'm doing is a size 1, which is 1 to 2 years. I'm knitting it on a size 4.5mm or US 7 needle. And I started it on December 9th, and I've made some pretty good progress. So we are working in the round. So here's the front. So it starts with the back panel, and then you pick up stitches, you work the shoulders, and then you work the front panel and join in the round. So I've worked about this much of the round. I think I have a few inches to go before I start the ribbing. It has a really long ribbing, which you will have seen in the finished object photos that I showed from the last one that I made. But this yarn is working up so beautifully. I am not alternating skeins. And I was a little bit nervous about that at first, but there are so many different colors incorporated in this yarn that I don't think that it makes a difference. It's so pretty. I casted this on during Vlogmas, so I chatted a little bit in one of the episodes about it, but I have 5 skeins of this in total, and I think I needed just over 5 skeins in order to knit both of these sweaters. So my plan is I am going to finish the body and the ribbing, and then pick up and knit the collar on this one, and then I'm going to start the second one and work the same amount, and then I'm going to work the sleeves of each sweater and save the ribbing on the sleeves. I hope this is making sense. Because if I run out of yarn, I'm just going to make the sleeve cuffs like a different color for both sweaters, and that should be enough. I am hoping that there's a miracle and I'm not going to run out of yarn, but if that's the case, I will just do the ribbing in a different color. I love this sweater. And I'm so pumped that I held on to this yarn for so long. I originally bought it was in a kit for the Bohemia cardigan. I don't even remember who designed that pattern, but if I can find it, I'll link it. And it was just sitting in a bag in my shelves for almost 5 years. It'll actually be 5 years because I think I looked up an email and it was from January of 2020 that I bought this yarn. So it's going on 5 years in my stash, and I'm finally working with it. But anyways, I originally bought it for that pattern and then never got around to it, and now these are just not colors that I have in my wardrobe. So I'm really excited that they are getting used up in this sweater. Shall we put a stitch marker on this one too? I think I'll do this candy cane that she sent me. All these charms are from the Littlest Charm Co. I ordered them back in October and recently got them, and she threw this candy cane one in for me. And it's my only Christmas stitch marker. I also wanted to share, I am using this basket by the Tailored Collection. I have her shop on Etsy linked in the description, and I'm actually also using one of her baskets for my Woolberry Fiber Co. Sweet Shop blanket. I love, love, love these project baskets, especially because right now I have one project in each basket, but I can also like throw in a bunch of little other ones and then take this with me, and I have several projects on the go, which I very much enjoy. I like to have options. Okay. I think I'll end up sharing 2 more whips. I wasn't gonna share the last one, but it's sitting here, so I might as well. But I casted on a new whip on the 27th. This is the, I want to say my Josie hood, but it's spelled J-O-S-E, so it makes me want to say my Jose hood. But I think it's my Josie hood or my Joe's. I'm not really sure. It's by Norgard, and I am knitting it in Barocco Ultra Alpaca Natural. This is some yarn that I got at Stash Lounge when I was in Canada that I originally was going to use to make the Stick Season jacket, and probably should have, but that's okay. This is a hood pattern, so it's like a raincoat hood, and then the ends are long so it can tie up like a scarf. I'll put pictures up here of what the pattern looks like. I wear a lot of like crew neck sweatshirts, and I wear a denim jacket. I have a black one and a light blue one, and I wear them all the time, but I live in Washington State where it rains a lot, and I wanted something that I could like throw over like a hood so that I don't always have to wear a hoodie underneath my denim jackets. So I casted this on. It is available in one size, so I'm knitting the only size that they have, and I'm knitting it on a 5mm US 8. This is all I have to show for it, but it is a garter stitch project. This is the top of the hood, and then I worked the German short rows, so this is going to be like this, I believe. Here, for the effect. It's going to be like this, and then it'll come around like this. You got it? It's super quick to work up. I need to next pick up stitches along the sides, and then I'll start like working, not in the round, but like in a half circle. Really excited to have this finished. It's not, this pattern is kind of out of my comfort zone. I don't really knit scarves and shawls. I've been thinking more about shawls lately, but I don't really wear them, so I don't really knit them. Natalie from Knit Cheek recently finished an inclination shawl, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. So I may knit that soon. But anyways, I don't knit scarves and shawls typically. So this is pretty out of my comfort zone, but I think that it's something that I will get a lot of use out of. So I decided to go for it. I met gauge pretty well. The thing about projects like this is when it starts with a square like this is my gauge swatch. Am I the only one? Like, that's just like the Lakes pullover. The Lakes pullover starts with these like rectangular saddles. Like that's the gauge swatch. Please tell me if I'm alone in this thought. Oh no, I just like threw it way over here. Anyways, I'm excited to see how this turns out. I hope that I wear it as much as I think I'm going to. And if I don't, then maybe I'll find someone who will. But I love this color, and I think that it will match like basically everything I wear. So there's that. The last whip that I'll share with you, I did not actually plan to share with you because it's kind of on hold right now. But during Vlogmas, I also got the, this was not during Vlogmas, but I also purchased the Winter Solstice box from Explore Knits and Fibers. It was called the Wool Gatherer box. I bought the full box. It was 8 full skeins of yarn, plus I got the sock set that I already showed that I'm using to knit up the Oxbow socks. And I opened the first week of that yarn. So it was a tonal and a variegated. And these were the colors that I opened. And immediately my brain went to the Heirloom Quilt Cardigan by Katrin Seeberger. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's what I'm going to use all of this yarn for. I am going to use all of these skeins to knit the Heirloom Quilt Cardigan by Katrin Seeberger. But then I opened the next week's colors and they just didn't work as well. This one does. So I think that wow, but it's so pretty. This one does work pretty well. We'll see. It's got a lot more like blue in it than might work for this project. But anyways, regardless, I casted on the first square and I finished it. And I will show that in just a second. Let me show you the yarns that I'm using, like in contrast. These are both from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. This one is Pigeon Milk, and then this like kind of speckled one is called The Usual. So I am using these as colors for the square. And then I actually have up here on my shelves that you can't see, these colors are the colors that I plan to use to make the like rest of it. So this is also Coast to Coast Yarn Co. Cuppa and Midnight Crescent. I might just do Midnight Crescent, but something about these colors together makes me want to do like a Midnight Crescent sleeve and then a Cuppa sleeve with a Midnight Crescent cuff. Or like the body ribbing in Cuppa. I don't know. I have both of these, and if I don't use them both, that's okay, but I'll definitely be using this guy, I think. I have 2 skeins of each, and then I actually have a couple more that I ordered. It's like specially from Erin, who is the yarn dyer behind Coast to Coast Yarn Co. She's knitting me up a couple more of the Midnight Crescent colors in that base so that I have enough in it if I decide to just do that color. So long story long, here is my first square. Gosh, and when I look at it, I'm like, why is this whip in hiding right now? And it's because I need to figure out my colors, but oh my word. It's so flippin' pretty. And so I caught my floats a crap load. I tried really hard to learn how to do the like Tunisian knitting thing, and it created this weird like lip, and I'm sure it would have blocked out, but I just prefer this. I don't mind the like waste of yarn to knit them like this, and I think it came out really, really beautiful. I'm actually just remembering I have some Coast to Coast Yarn Co. yarn that I had initially bought for this project in my stash. I'm gonna pull it out and let's see if it works and if we can put this whip back in the rotation, because it's so pretty and it's stunning, and I know it's gonna take a long time to knit up because this one quilt square took me like 2 days, but I do know that it'll get easier as time goes by, and I want this project to live in my life. So let me grab those yarns. Hang on a sec. Okay. So I pulled out all of the skeins that I had originally picked out, and then I also placed, so the original ones were from Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s Fantasy Coffee Shop, I think it was called, collection. So that's where I got Pigeon Milk, The Usual, Cuppa, and Midnight Crescent, right? Yes. And then I had also bought, oh, maybe this one's not from that. It's not. So I had also bought these 2. There's got to be a couple more, but I can't find them right now, but it's fine. I also got this one, which is Currents, and this one, which is Return from a Watery Grave. And then I didn't love them all together. Oh, but now I do. Fuck. Oops, sorry. Beep. Dang. Okay. I also found this Coast to Coast yarn that is called Gymnopolis. Oh, this is from her Mush Club, September 2021. I actually have 2 skeins of this somehow. And then I also ordered from her patchwork collection. So I ordered Homespun Quilt, Archer, and Weaver's Dogwood, which are really pretty together. And maybe, if this is boring, I'm really sorry to you, but maybe we should figure out what colors we want to use together, like right now, live in action. So I already have these 2, which are Explore Knits and Fibers. So like very like brown, purpley. I could do, I wonder how many colors I need. I guess it doesn't really matter because I can just like repeat colors more than once or whatever. I don't think I'm going to use this one. And I don't think I'm going to use this one. So this is Dogwood's Weave. This is so stinking pretty, but I think it needs to be socks. Like a brown, purple, blue with the creams. Is that too much? I feel like I really like this, but oop, that was the most awful way I could have possibly picked those up. Okay. Plus the ones that I already have. And then these main colors. So maybe these ones go away. Oops. It's a lot of dark colors, but then when I have the creams incorporated, I think it works out well. This might be what I do. Here, come with me. Does this work? These are the 2 main colors here. Sorry if the lighting is horrific. But what do we think? Do we like that? It's so hard to hold up a ton of colors at once. We know these things. Especially when half of them are caked up. But we've got these. And then these 2 as the fun colors. I think I like that. Do I need something light in there though? I do have the creamy colors that I'm incorporating. I think that this is it, you guys. And then we've got these for the knitted part, the like main knitted parts. But are these 2 too similar? Midnight Crescent and Archer. Maybe I don't use Archer for like a background of the square. Maybe I use it for the inside of a square. And then it would work out like if I did like this. This is the main color and then this is the like quilt star color. That could work. I'm gonna keep these out and just kind of see what I think. If I need a lighter color, I do have that like lavender from my Explore Knits and Fibers Winter Solstice box that I could implement. But I think that I'm happy with this. Gosh, the speckles in this are absolutely stunning. So again, this is Coast to Coast Yarn Co. The colorway is Homespun Quilt. Stunning. Okay, I think that I like this. I think I need to sit with it for a little while longer, but I think that I am a dark and moody person, and I think that I'm okay with most of these colors being dark and moody, and then like pops of cream. Would love to hear your opinions. I will probably also post this on Instagram as soon as I'm done recording because I think that I love this, but I'm nervous it's not enough contrast. Okay, wow, I went from not planning on sharing that whip to talking about it for like 10 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed that. I usually wrap up with talking about future plans, but I don't really have any immediate cast on plans right now. I am working really hard to finish up some whips and make some good progress on what I have going before I cast anything else on. I am like itching to cast on a new pullover sweater, but I want to get a good bit of work done on the body of my legs pullover before I do that. But I have been recently looking at the Broom sweater by Andrea Mowry because I have some Farmer's Daughters Fibers Odang DK in black that I would love to make into a like fuzzy comfy sweater. So I might have to scratch that itch soon, but I do plan on recording and posting a like loose plans for 2025 knitting in the next week or so. I am not doing a make 9. I don't like to put myself in a box, and I don't like to feel pressure to set very specific knitting goals in the beginning of the year and then not be able to change my mind when like my style changes or I want to use that yarn for a different project. So I am going to knit or record a video of the patterns that I would love to knit in 2025 without it being a make 9. I also am planning on chatting about like my knitting and crafting goals. And yeah, I also start my next quarter of school a week from today, so I know that my knitting time is going to dwindle, but I hope to continue recording podcasts even during school. Again, I'm taking less credits this quarter than I did last quarter, so I think I'll have a little bit more breathing room. But yeah, that is all for my final podcast of the year. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to chat with me, and I hope that you got a lot of knitting done. I would love to hear what you were working on while you watched this, and if you made it this far, please let me know what you think about my tentative plans for my Heirloom Quilt Cardigan. It's a pattern that's so beautiful, so I would really love to work it up in the new year, but choosing colors is always the hardest part, especially when it's more than one color. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Morgan, and if you would like to see more from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I always appreciate a thumbs up, and if you comment, I would be happy to have a little chat with you in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have the best day and the best end of the year, and I will see you in the new year. Happy knitting!